Hi, it's Steph, and we're at Lowe's, and they've received a bunch of their early spring blooming shrubs as well as evergreens. So let's go ahead and check out their mid-March inventory. They have some proven winners for Forsythia. This variety is called Show Off, and they are nice and budded up and getting ready to bloom any day now. These are 2-gallon containers and they are $28.98. So let's check out the specs on the Show Off Forsythia by Proven Winners. It has those beautiful yellow blooms that are very reminiscent of early spring. This is a full sun shrub in part shade. It's hardy in zones 5 through 8. And it gets to be 5 to 6 feet tall and wide. Very early spring flowers, abundant blooms. So this is a really pretty spring shrub. And right below it, they have some evergreens. These are called Little Giant Arborvitae. Let's see if we can find a little bit better tag. There we go. And the Little Giant Arborvitae has a rounded shape, and it says it's an accent shrub. These are evergreen. This one here is $13.98. It looks to be a little bit bigger than a gallon. And arborvitae do like consistent moisture until they establish. This one here has an average mature size of 4 by 4 in a rounded habit. You want to space them 4 to 5 feet apart, and they're hardy to zone 3. Some dwarf Japanese garden juniper. This is $10.98, and it looks like it's a ground cover type juniper. It likes full sun, which is 6+ hours of sun. Its mature size is 2 feet high by 6 feet wide. Needs about 5 foot spacing and is hardy to zone 4. They have some Green Mountain Boxwood, and if you like to make topiary, this is a good time to look for some topiary candidates. You want to look for some that have a nice straight stem, and then you can start trimming it to the shape that you desire. So this one here is part sun, so boxwoods in general do pretty well in part sun, as long as they get anywhere from 3 to 6 hours of some morning sun. These are $13.98. They're just about a gallon if I had to guess. And these here get to be 4 to 5 feet high, 2 to 3 foot wide, and you should space them 2 to 3 feet apart. Generally, you can space them a bit closer if you want them to form a hedge, or a little further apart if you want to trim them up and have them be a specimen or standalone evergreen. They also have the Green Gem Boxwood, and these are also $13.98. And these get to be 2 by 2, so these are a little more compact, which is actually great if you want to make a little hedge that you don't want to get too overgrown. And these should be spaced about 2 feet apart, and they are hardy to zone 4. And that is the Green Gem Boxwood. They have some compact Andorra juniper, and the cool thing about this juniper is it has this upward growing arching type habit on this evergreen, but it also, not only is it like a green with a hint of blue in the warmer temperatures, it tends to take on this bronzy color in the cooler winter temps. And these here are $10.98. The Andorra juniper gets to be 2 feet high by 4 foot wide. Needs 3 to 4 foot spacing. It is hardy to zone 4, and this is a full sun shrub. They also have some Sargent's juniper, which is also full sun. It's $10.98, and this has more of a green with a hint of blue. And these types of junipers make a great ground cover option. They get to be 2 foot high by 4 foot wide, and they're hardy to zone 4. $10.98. Here's a really cool evergreen if you have more of a contemporary vibe in your garden or want something with a vertical interest. This sky pencil Japanese holly is a great option for that. Here in the Northeast, if you plant these in a spot where it's under an eave or where they'll get a good amount of snow, you do want to secure them with some kind of twine. over the winter, just so they don't split in the center. But in general, these grow pretty well. I've been told that they are deer resistant, which is great in my garden because we do have quite a bit of deer. And these size-wise get to be 6 to 8 foot high, 1 to 1.5 foot wide. So they're pretty compact. So they'd be a great option to tuck into a mixed border. And these here, let's see how much they are. They're full sun shrub. And I don't see oh, here it is. These are $19.98 and they're almost a 2-gallon. Another great option for your spring blooming shrubs that are evergreen are rhododendrons. This one here is called Bursalt rhododendron. It has beautiful pink blooms and they are a part sun shrub. They do well in some shade, but a little bit of sun will give them better blooming. And they get to be 5 foot high by 5 foot wide, and they are hardy to zone 4. They really do have such beautiful, large evergreen leaves. And these are $15.98. And they have some syringa or lilacs. These also have beautiful buds on them, nice thick budding going on. I don't know if you can see that. And these are our first edition shrubs, so let's check out the variety. This is called, let's see, Virtual Violet Lilac. And it has these beautiful blooms that almost look purple, but a bit pink actually. And it is a full sun shrub with dark green foliage. It has medium water needs, hardy to zone 3. And it gets to be 6 to 8 foot high and 5 to 7 foot wide. The fragrance on these is wonderful. I have a couple of lilacs in my garden and I absolutely love them. I have a Miss Kim, I have another Korean lilac. They're wonderful. These are pretty low fuss shrubs. If you want to prune them, you want to prune them after they bloom so that you don't risk cutting off any of next year's blooms. And these here are 2 gallons for $28.98. And a bunch of shrubs that look like sticks, but these are going to fill out beautifully in just a couple of months, maybe some even sooner. Like this flowering almond. This gets really beautiful pink blooms and then it just has some green foliage. This one here is $24.98 and it looks to be at least a 2-gallon size. It's a full sun shrub. It says that it will get 12 foot high by 12 foot wide and it is hardy to zone 3. They have quite a few of these almonds here, and there are some other cool shrubs like a sweet bay magnolia and some of these beautiful dogwoods. So let's check those out. Sweet bay magnolia is actually native here in my zone 6 in Massachusetts. It's got this really pretty white bloom. Most magnolias that are white, actually all magnolias are beautiful. I have a white one in my garden called Dr. Merrill. And this one here, the Sweet Bay, I don't have one, but I've been interested in adding one at some point. This is a part sun to sun shrub or tree. It can be a large shrub or you can actually prune it upward or limb it up to make it look like a small tree with multi-stem. It gets to be 12 foot high by 12 foot wide. And it is hardy to zone 4. And let's see how much these are. The Sweet Bay Magnolia is $24.98. Some other variety of forsythia. This one is called Linwood Gold. It is a full sun shrub. Look at that beautiful wild yellow color. Gorgeous. This is a 2-gallon for $22.98, and it gets to be 10 to 12 foot high by 10 to 12 foot wide. It is hardy to zone 4. And these are $22.98. Here's another variety of magnolia. This one is called Jane, and I have one of these in my garden. It's got a beautiful pink, dark pink bloom with a light pink on the inside of the petal. This one here, it looks to be about a 2 to 3 gallon, and it is $44.98. It's a spring flowering shrub, full sun, and it gets to be 10 to 12 foot high and 8 to 10 foot wide, hardy to zone 4. And here at my store, they've gotten a bunch of new statuary, some bird baths and some beautiful urn planters, also some other garden statues like little puppies and bunnies and turtles. So it's a great time to check out your store to see what they might have gotten in stock. Here at my store, these turtles are $33.98. They have a larger turtle and they have some smaller ones. They also have some in this lighter color and a bit darker concrete color. This bunny here, this is the only kind of bunny I want to see in my garden. $26.98. And this adorable Labrador for $27.98. If you want a larger forsythia, this is basically instant impact. You can get these larger ones that they have in the B&B, is what they call the ball and burlap, and they are a larger shrub, and these are $32.98. Here's the price tag on these larger ball and burlap forsythias, and this variety here gets to be 8 foot high by 8 foot wide, hardy to zone 4, and they're nice and budded up. Lots of buds, so they're about to give us a great show this spring. Pink pussy willow. This variety is called Sauce. I've actually never seen a pussy willow available for sale at the box store, so this is a really cool find. This is a full sun shrub. It is spring blooming, and the blooming is, see these little fuzzy bits here on the shrub? Those will open up and these little catkins come out of it, and that is what is considered the bloom. This is $22.98. And it gets to be 25 foot high by 15 wide, so it needs some space. And it is hardy to zone 5. These are also beautiful for cutting and forcing indoors this time of year in early spring. And something to note about pussy willow is that, or willows in general, they are water-loving plants. So if you have a problem area with some water, you might want to plant a type of willow to kind of help with that situation. But on the contrary, if you have a septic system, a leaching field, or even a well, I would stay clear of planting anything like this, or at least if you do, plant it very far away. So just a little bit of caution on any type of willow. But this was a really cool find for a spring blooming shrub. And here in New England, we're just coming off of winter, and it's a good time to sort of analyze and see what our gardens were missing. And for us, this shrub, which is the dogwood, provides beautiful winter interest. These are the twig dogwoods, and they come in both yellow and red. So let's go ahead and check out the specs on these. So these do bloom, but the blooms are kind of insignificant, and then they just fill out with some green foliage, and it just becomes a green shrub and sort of fades to the background. But in the winter months when nothing else is in bloom and you want to add interest to your landscape, these are great candidates. Between some evergreens and some twig dogwoods, you'll have a lot of winter interest in your garden. So these are part sun. They're a spring and summer shrub, $24.98. These are about a 2 gallon. And let's see, they get to be 6 to 8 foot high and 6 to 8 foot wide. They're hardy to zone 2, so a very hardy shrub. And that is the yellow. These also look really beautiful in cut winter arrangements. If you wanted to use them after a few years, once they get really large, you can cut them and use them as decor in your winter containers. Here's the red twig dogwood. See that beautiful vibrant red color? This one says it's native. It is $24.98, and it's a 2.33 gallon. It is a part sun shrub. Needs 3 to 6 hours of sun. And it gets to be 10 foot high, 10 foot wide. And it's hardy to zone 2. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know these are one of my favorite evergreens, the false mop cypress or the lemon thread false cypress. Look at this vibrant color. You just can't beat this golden yellow in the landscape. It pops so beautifully against green and blue evergreens. Really beautiful. So let's check out the specs on this one. These are full sun. You can plant them in a bit of a part shade, part sun situation, but they won't be as vibrant. So you get the best yellow color in full sun. These are just about a 1 gallon container for $13.98. And they get to be 3 to 5 foot high, 2 to 4 foot wide, and they're hardy to zone 4. You can prune these if they start to get a bit big, to kind of size control them. In fact, I've done that in my own garden, and I have a video about it if you want to check it out. But these are a great, great evergreen shrub. Here's actually an example of how you can tell the color. If you flip to the bottom side, you can see that the inside or the bottom doesn't get as much sun, and it's much more green, where the tops that catch the sun are a lot more yellow and vibrant. They've also received lots of these arborvitae and these evergreen trees that make really great options for living fences. And the spring is a great time to get these put in. So if you're looking for a living fence, they're starting to get all of these trees in stock. Some blue rug juniper. These are a great ground cover evergreen. These are $10.98. They're full sun. And they get to be 1 foot high by 8 foot wide. See how they have this trailing habit here? I actually added a bunch of these as a ground cover in a hillside type area that I have last fall. And I'm excited to see how they grow. They have like a blue-green color to them. Heathers. These are a really early blooming shrub. They're kind of evergreen, really. And then they start putting on all of these little blooms as we get towards the end of winter, very beginning of spring. They're $13.98. This variety here is called Mediterranean Pink Heather, and it is a full sun shrub. It's a flowering shrub. And let's see here. The specs on the heather, they get to be 1 foot high by 2 foot wide. They're hardy to zone 6. And we said that they were full sun for $13.98. These are really beautiful. They even look really nice in a container. Another favorite of mine that I've mentioned on my channel a few times, this hose nozzle. What I love about it is that it has this lever, and so it reduces fatigue on your thumb. So if you're standing there watering, instead of having to hold the trigger the whole time, you just open it up, let the water flow, and you just water your flowers. They're actually fully stocked right now. They're $16.98. And I can give you the item number if you wanted to check it out online. It's right there. The Max Heavy Duty 8 pattern nozzle. Works really well. Highly recommend. They have a large variety of spring blooming trees right now. And these here in the front, the weeping cherry trees, are really beautiful. They have the snow white fountain, and sometimes I even find the weeping Yoshino cherries. They're a beautiful accent or focal tree for the landscape. I won't go through all of them, but I will show you a couple of them. Look how beautiful this weeping cherry is. Once this becomes a mature tree, it is quite a sight. And so this one here is $169. It blooms in spring. It is a full sun tree, and it gets to be 30 foot high by 20 to 25 foot wide, and it is hardy to zone 5. And these look to be about a 10-gallon container. So pretty good size. And lots of selection and variety on fruit trees as well. So there's flowering trees, some shade trees, and they also have a good amount of fruit trees. So I've seen plum, cherry, and behind me they have a bunch of apples as well. Here's a weeping Yoshino cherry. This one is $42.98, and it is full sun. It gets to be 7 foot high by 10 foot wide. It is hardy to zone 5, and look how beautiful that is. This one here looks to be about 5-gallon. Really beautiful. I actually put one in my garden last season. Mine is not weeping though. I will find a home in the backyard for a weeping one at some point. River birches, another wonderful option for an area that you have that maybe gets a lot of water. River birches love water. These get to be 40 to 60 feet high, 40 foot wide, and they're hardy to zone 3. It is a full sun tree. They have this gorgeous peeling bark, which makes it also a great feature for winter interest. These are $39.98, and this is the multi-trunk, which is my preference. I think they look beautiful with the multi-trunk. Well, that is it for today. I'm going to pick up some potting soil and head home. But I hope that you've enjoyed this early spring, mid-March inventory at Lowe's. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit the thumbs up button. And please consider subscribing so you don't miss any of my future videos. And we'll see you soon.